The sterling ballroom's crystal chandeliers illuminated Manhattan's most exclusive charity event. Vivian Drake adjusted her emerald pendant, flanked by Sophia Blackwell in crimson and Isabel Montgomery in silver, New York social elite on full display. The new Children's Research Center better be named after someone worthwhile, Vivian remarked critically. As they spoke, Olivia Reed entered in a simple olive dress, modest and plain compared to the surrounding couture. No jewelry, no designer clutch. Who invited her? Isabel whispered loudly. That dress looks like she's here for a job interview, not a $10,000 plate charity event. What these socialites didn't know was that Olivia had spent her morning touring the current pediatric research facility, promising a young boy with a rare genetic disorder that the new center would include an interactive science garden. "I don't believe we've met," said Vivian, extending a diamond-adorned hand. Vivian Drake, Hospital Board Fundraising Chair. Olivia Reed. "Lovely to meet you." Vivian's eyes assessed Olivia's attire, finding no designer label. "What brings you to our gathering? Are you with the medical staff?" "No. I'm just passionate about children's medical research." Sophia and Isabel drifted closer as Vivian continued her interrogation. "Your dress," she began, voice dripping with false concern. "Is it vintage?" "Just simple," Olivia replied calmly. "I find elaborate designs distracting." "How practical," Vivian replied condescendingly. "We must introduce you to Harrison Wells. He's our biggest donor. $10 million for the gene therapy lab. Harry loves meeting everyday people." As they led Olivia through the ballroom, whispers followed. "Who brought the librarian? Is that dress from a department store? Poor thing, she clearly doesn't belong here." Dr. Elizabeth Chen, the research center's chief of pediatrics, approached with a warm smile. "Ms. Reed, I didn't know you'd be here tonight." Vivian's eyebrows arched in surprise. "You two know each other?" "Ms. Reed visited our research center this morning," Dr. Chen explained enthusiastically. "Little Max hasn't stopped talking about the interactive science garden you discussed with him." "How charitable," Vivian replied with a tight smile. But Ms. Reed was just about to meet Harrison Wells. "Perhaps Ms. Reed could share her thoughts on the new center design," suggested Dr. Chen. "Her perspective might be valuable." "Elizabeth, darling," Isabel laughed, "I'm sure Ms. Reed is more interested in the canapes than construction plans." "Actually," Dr. Chen replied coolly, "Ms. Reed asked some remarkably insightful questions about our research protocols this morning." Vivian intervened smoothly. "These events can be intimidating for newcomers. The donors' circle operates quite differently from regular hospital visitors." Across the room, the center's director ascended the stage, and Olivia excused herself momentarily. "The center probably invited her for publicity photos," Vivian explained dismissively after Olivia left. "The working class makes for touching brochure stories." When Olivia returned, the center's executive director, Jonathan Mercer, was addressing the crowd. "Tonight marks a historic chapter for the Manhattan Children's Research Center," he announced. "Before we unveil our donor wall, I want to share something extraordinary. For the first time in our center's history, we've received an anonymous donation of $75 million for our pediatric research facility." Murmurs rippled through the crowd as he continued. "This benefactor lost a sibling to a rare genetic disorder 20 years ago, a condition that today, with research like ours, might have been treatable." The director looked across the ballroom. "Ms. Reed, would you please join me on stage?" The room fell silent, then erupted in whispers. Vivian's champagne glass froze halfway to her lips. "Ladies and gentlemen," Mercer announced, "it is my honor to introduce Ms. Olivia Reed, founder of the Reed Foundation for Advanced Pediatric Research and our lead benefactor." Vivian's glass nearly slipped from her fingers as Olivia stepped forward to the microphone. "When I was 16, I lost my brother Michael to a genetic disorder with no treatment," Olivia began softly. "Today, I'm fortunate enough to be in a position to give back. Max's Science Garden will be a place of learning and hope, because sometimes our youngest minds can teach us the most profound lessons about curiosity and resilience." As the crowd surged toward the architectural display, Olivia found herself surrounded by people who had barely acknowledged her earlier. Through the crowd, she caught sight of Vivian and her friends huddled in urgent conversation. Dr. Chen appeared at Olivia's side. I wanted to see their faces when they realized. Is that terrible of me? I didn't do this for the reveal, Olivia smiled, though I admit it does make a point. Their conversation paused as Vivian approached, flanked by Sophia and Isabel. Ms. Reed, Vivian began sweetly, what a wonderful surprise. Had we known of your foundation's important work? But you didn't need to know, Olivia interrupted gently. That's rather the point, isn't it? No misunderstanding, Olivia continued, as Vivian stammered. You saw what you expected to see, a woman whose worth you measured by clothing rather than character. Left behind after Olivia was called away, Vivian whispered to her friends, the Reed technology fortune. Her parents were biotech pioneers who sold their company for billions. Later, Vivian found Olivia studying the rendering of Max's science garden. Why didn't you say something when we were? Vivian began. Would it have mattered? Olivia asked. Should it matter? My worth, anyone's worth, isn't measured by their bank account, Olivia continued. The children I visited this morning don't care about designer labels. They care about kindness, about being seen for who they are. Before Vivian could respond, Director Mercer unveiled the donor wall. Where Olivia's name should have appeared was instead. In memory of Michael Reed and for Max and all children facing battles beyond their years, your courage inspires our commitment. Ms. Reed has requested that her contribution remain anonymous, he explained, believing the true focus should remain on the children we serve. Vivian turned to Olivia, tears in her eyes. You've shown me something I desperately needed to see. We all need reminding sometimes that our true worth isn't in what we have, but in what we give. 8 months later, Olivia guided young Max through his science garden, now a reality filled with interactive exhibits designed for children of all abilities. The atrium buzzed with activity for the opening ceremony. Olivia spotted Vivian arranging children for a demonstration, a genuine smile on her face as she caught Olivia's eye. Over the past months, Vivian had resigned from her social committees to devote time to the center's family support programs, working directly with families navigating childhood genetic disorders. I've established a foundation to help families like Max's, Vivian confided to Olivia during the ceremony. The paperwork was finalized yesterday. That's wonderful, Olivia replied, genuinely surprised. It's a beginning, Vivian said. You showed me that wealth brings responsibility, not just privilege. As they watched Max enthusiastically explain an exhibit to a younger patient, Vivian reflected, that night at the gala, it wasn't really about the money, was it? No, Olivia acknowledged. It was about seeing beyond surfaces. I judged you by your dress, Vivian said quietly. And now? Olivia asked. Now I try to see people as they are, not as they appear, Vivian replied. It's harder than it sounds. The most meaningful changes usually are, Olivia smiled. Together they joined the gathering in the sunlit atrium, where children's voices filled the space with excited explanations of scientific principles, a chorus of curiosity rising from those who understood better than most the precious nature of each discovery and the true meaning of transformation.